Yo, how's everybody doing? It's the Hawking Regime here, and today I'm coming at you guys with another Talk with the Hawk video here on the Hawking Regime channel. Today, a post-game analysis video of the Seattle Seahawks Week 2 preseason matchup against the Minnesota Vikings, 18-11 loss to Minnesota at home. And usually the way I like to format these post-game analysis videos is going over the positives of the game, the negatives of the game, the MVP of the game, and takeaways, things that we can look forward to in next week's matchup. And starting off with the positives of the game, Seattle Seahawks, pretty much the backup offensive line unit, I actually thought like the third unit, second or third unit, a mix of that for Seattle, played pretty well, I thought. You got Troymaine Pope in there, 10 carries for 86 yards, 8.6 yards per attempt as an average, 1 touchdown and a long of 27. He played really well, I thought, when he got his opportunities. He had some good plays out of the receiving core. Antoine Goodley, Kenny Lawler had some nice catches as well. Nothing too crazy, however. Defensively, also another positive is the starting unit. I don't think the starting unit gave up a Actually, I guess they did give up a point, but they did have players in and out. You know, Sherman and Earl Thomas were taken out of the game. I think after the first quarter. KJ Wright, he got taken out near a goal line play for Seattle when they got scored on for Minnesota on a touchdown run. But as a whole, only gave up 1 offensive touchdown the whole entire day and 1 field goal. So pretty good game by the defense, especially stuffing the run. The first unit at least when they got some of the other defensive guys in there, they ended up running pretty well. But McKinnon, you see 9 carries for 15 yards and 3 carries for 2 yards. So pretty much the starting unit running backs for Minnesota got almost not even 20 yards against the starting defensive unit for Seattle, which I thought was a good positive right there defensively. No takeaways for Seattle, which was a little bit interesting on the day. That is one thing. If I was trying to preach something, it'd be just to continue and try and get those takeaways on the defensive side of the football, because that ultimately changes the outcome of games immensely, as seen by a negative of the game, which was Trevone Boykin's pretty much, I don't know how to express it in any other way but saying his rookie mentality. As a rookie, Trevone Boykin still has a lot to learn in the league. It was kind of evident. You saw him throw in it. We saw him, if you watch the game, throw an interception in the fourth quarter that ended up being a pick six. And it's just a throw that you can't make as a quarterback in the NFL, even if it's preseason. A player blanketed when you're being rushed by a guy and a guy's in your face. You just can't off of your back foot try and throw a football in a contested position. It's just not going to work out that well. So that is one thing Boykin needs to learn, and it's a good lesson for him to learn. And that wasn't the only negative of the game. One other negative was the fact that we had 12 penalties, which is unbelievable. Very, very difficult to win a game when you have 12 penalties committed against your team. And it was really ugly to see, honestly. A lot of the game, the penalties were really frustrating. I would argue probably we had god dang 8 or 9 more penalties than Minnesota even had. So that's horrible in and of itself. So Seattle needs to definitely cut down on the penalties. That will be something that I'm sure Pete Carroll preaches come the next practices for Seattle this upcoming week, heading into their next game Thursday at home against Dallas. So those negatives would pretty much conclude that. Hauschka did miss 1 field goal, but it was the snapping. There were also some poor snaps. That was another negative of the game. Defensively, I don't have too much complaints. Teams will convert tough passes and third down conversions on you. That's just how things work, and that happened a couple times. Not too many drops, I would say. I wouldn't say too many drops. Boykin actually played he didn't play a horrible game, but those rookie mistakes in the fourth quarter where you're tied and you're at your opponent's you're at pretty much the midfield. You only have 2 minutes left in the game. You can't make that mistake, man. You have to take control of the football. Actually, less than that. It was like 1:40 left in the game. You have to control the clock. You can't commit a turnover in that situation. So that's one thing that was probably the biggest negative I saw, because other than that, not too bad. Offensive line, actually, I forgot about that. The offensive line for the starters gave up 4 sacks in the first half to Russell Wilson. So that's extremely frustrating to see. You never want to see something that everybody already knows is a problem to continue to be a problem, and that is the Seattle Seahawks offensive line in the situation that they're in right now. They had a lineup of Sowell, however you pronounce his last name. At left tackle, Glowinski, Britt, Fetty, and Gilliam. And that was the starting offensive line unit. And Minnesota has a pretty good D-line, so that's something else I attribute to it. And Russell Wilson has a tendency also to sometimes stay in the pocket a bit long, just try and make something happen if he's being rushed, to try and outrun some guys, and that ended up, causing some sacks as well. But nonetheless, man, the offensive line continues to be a struggle for Seattle. But now going to the MVP of the game, it's not easy. I'd have to go with Troymaine Pope because honestly, I thought he ran pretty inspired. I thought he, played with a lot of explosiveness when he was running the football. Played very well. I thought, every time he got an opportunity to burst through a hole, he did it with force and with explosion, acceleration. I thought he played pretty well, honestly, and I thought I would give him the MVP award of the game. Again, this is from the perspective of the Seattle Seahawks, so I'm not going to be distributing anything to the Minnesota Vikings or discussing anything about them. But takeaways from this game, going into week number 3, the season is ultimately coming closer. The preseason is ultimately coming closer to an end. We're already halfway through it. Heading into the regular season, it's definitely an exciting time of the year. But Seattle, man, we need to work on our offensive line for sure. Obviously, that's a must. But just some more chemistry will, as we get more reps with the preseason and offensive line at the moment, things will continue to pretty much mesh into a complete unit, especially when you don't have guys like Jimmy Graham out there to at least offer some more help. And not even Jimmy Graham, but Thomas Rawls, another running back. A run game as a whole, once we get the run game really flowing, especially with Michael Rawls, Procise if he comes back, that's really going to open up things offensively, and that will allow this team to really thrive, in my personal opinion. So that will be the conclusion of the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for more Talk of the Hawk videos and talk about the Seattle Seahawks. The next one will be a pregame analysis of the Dallas Cowboys, unless there is some further news with the Seattle Seahawks prior to that game actually occurring, I believe, on the 26th of August. The 25th of August. The 25th of August, I believe, next Thursday. So, once again, that will be the conclusion of the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. And, yep, thanks for watching.